Hi, gorgeous humans. I'm making this video about what it's like to be clairvoyant and also hopefully to help you discover and develop your own special abilities. I believe that we're all born with different special abilities and that we're all taking in the world in different ways. Just like some people are really good at math or some people are really good at language, we also have different extrasensory abilities like spidey senses. We all have our unique brand of spidey senses. So I can tell you a little bit about mine and how I've also continued to develop them. And as I'm telling you about this, you can maybe remember and awaken your own gifts. Um, as we're moving into the new paradigm, this is a time when the veils are being lifted and more of the truth is coming through. So this is probably going to show up backwards, but you get the picture. This is the electromagnetic field, and this little tiny rainbow here, that's what we actually see. But there's so much more going on that we don't see. So this is that part blown up. So we live in this world because this is what we see, but that's really just like a tiny fraction. So we can learn to open up more and more and more to what's there. So have you ever had the experience where something bad happened and then looking back you were like, I should have known, I could have known, oh, the information was all there for me. So it's a matter of opening up to the information that's already there. And what do we need to do to open up to the information that's already there? We need to prepare our internal nervous system. We need to calm ourselves and ground so that we can hold more information. Because when we get overwhelmed, we just start blocking things out. So even if you're in a class and then you just reach capacity, you just like do the rest of it just like bounces off your head and the information won't come in. So if you're wanting to open up to more clairvoyance or clairaudience or just other ways of seeing more of what's there, you need to first just ground yourself and get comfortable. So I have always had a very natural connection with the mystical side of things. As a kid, I would be like singing to the bees and talking to the ocean and stuff like that. I really love the quote, the difference between a mystic and a schizophrenic is that a mystic believes the universe is conspiring for them and a schizophrenic believes that the universe is conspiring against them. So it's really important. And even if whatever you are, even if you do have mental health issues or whatever, you can still ground in the light and soothe yourself and use it as a gift. So yeah, so as we open up to more information, it can be disorienting and it can also be disturbing because you're taking in a lot. And you just imagine like what it would be like if you could just go around reading everyone's thoughts all the time. Imagine like knowing your spouse's every thought. That would probably be a bit of a disaster, right? So this is what makes the difference between a mental health crisis and a gift. So as we open up to more information in the world, perceiving more of what's going on, we really want to anchor into the benevolence of the universe and our own inner light and prepare ourselves to be able to process that information with a certain amount of trust and benevolence. So say you receive information that you don't want to see, or you see something or feel something that's disturbing, like say you see some demons or something, you there's ways that you can develop, like knowing how to interact with a demon, how to defuse a demon. And yeah, there's ways to protect yourself, which I'll talk about more towards the end of the video. So, um, yeah, I'll talk about some of my natural abilities that I just noticed, and then I didn't think anything of it, but until I started to actually try to cultivate it more and actually consciously decide to open myself up to more gifts. So I noticed from early on that when I hug people, I can actually feel their heart fields. I can feel like scars in their hearts or blockages, walls, or some people just have super radiant, expansive hearts that fill up like a whole room or a whole house. And I just get high off of like being in their energy field. So that's a really obvious one. I can feel people's heart fields. And I've even, some people have very strange things going on in their hearts, like little hands that come out, which I don't know what that means. And I've always been looking for someone else who had this same ability to feel people's heart fields, because then I could ask them, like, what does it mean when someone has like a hand that comes out of their heart and like tickles your heart? Or I don't know. Anyway, so if you have that magical power, can you just tell me what that means? um Anyways, so let's see. Oh yeah, and then I've always had one of just my earliest natural gifts was it, if I ever make love with someone, I just get all kinds of crazy visions, and can see into other realms. At first, it just started to see how our souls would be interacting. Like, we have certain things that we say and that we do on this realm with our little smiley face ego selves and like what we're actually presenting to each other. But then when you go into that realm of, the other side of the veil during a moment of making love, you can see all kinds of other stuff that's actually going on. And so, yeah, I used to just be able to see like how our souls were actually interacting. But then later in life, I was able to see all kinds of other crazy stuff, like people's ancestors and basically the karma that they're carrying. I could do like a whole other video about this. So I'll just leave it there for now. But also, if you have had similar experiences, I encourage you to comment because I'm curious about what you see and feel. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So those are kind of some of the more what like natural ones I just had was like feeling very connected to like benevolence all the time, feeling very connected to God or the universe, and like feeling people's heart fields, and then noticing people's soul interactions, especially when making love. But then a few years back, I actually set the intention and I said, I'm ready to open up to more clairvoyance. I'm ready. Like I want to know more. And the very first message that I got from the universe was like, okay, you want to know more? Well, you need to prepare yourself. And it basically told me that I have to be prepared to be with what is, with peace in my heart. So like if I was going to be getting all kinds of crazy information or seeing everybody's demons and stuff, I couldn't just be like going around being hysterical all the time. I had to be grounded and like prepared to see the good and the bad and to hold it all. So I began to prepare myself in that way in meditation. And as I even began to go more and more and more and more and more and more and more towards the light, I also cultivated myself to be able to hold darkness, to be able to know that it exists. So I purposely expanded myself in this way. Also, I'm a therapist, and so it helps to have a broad, like, holding range, because you don't want to go to a therapist that you feel like, can't handle like the vastness of whatever you're coming with. So it kind of goes hand in hand, but I kind of want to hold everything in the whole universe. So I've really been cultivating, my connection with the light and my ability to be to maintain peace in my heart while being with the vastness of all of reality. And one Buddhist quote, or Buddhist way of saying this, is to the goal is all penetrating awareness. And the way to do this is to cut through fear and desire and be with what is. So just take that in. All penetrating awareness, cut through fear and desire and be with what is. Right? So just let that land. So often we're blinded by like what we really want, or what we're afraid of. And so you've all seen people who stayed in relationships too long, like way beyond what they should have, because they were hoping and hoping and hoping that the person would be with them the way that they wanted them to, or whatever. But or you have a friend and you just want to be like, hey girl, like, he's not that into you, but she just doesn't want to see it. So that's an example. It's like as simple as that. It all starts with little things like that. It's like, how much information are you really willing to be with in your own life, and then in the world? And it starts with little things like that, listening to your intuition, like letting yourself know what you know, because the information is already there. The information, like, should you take this job? Should you date this guy? Like, what to believe in the news. The information is all there when you really allow yourself to see it. And you'll take in, what we all do as humans is we take in as much information as we can. And then when we hit our limit, it's just like the cup can't fill up anymore, and then it's just like overflowing and dumping out. It's like blocking the rest of it out. So neurosis and psychosis are kind of adaptive behaviors in our structure that, like, when we can't handle anymore. Like if you're a kid and you experience trauma, it's too much information, right? So you block it out, and certain parts of you end up getting locked up. So if we want to be more whole, more healthy, and more clairvoyant beings, then it's a matter of like really being able to be with the good and the bad, and to be able to maintain peace in our hearts. So let's see what else. And as you do this, you will begin to be able to sense through lies. You'll be able to see it, because it's like you're more honest with yourself and you're more in touch with your own knowing. It's really important to trust your intuition and to know what you know. So another way to expand your clairvoyance is to be around other people who have these certain awarenesses. So I was saying that we all have different special abilities. Like, someone might be really good at music and someone might be really good at chemistry or whatever. Well, likewise, we kind of naturally have certain, I'll call them light codes. So humans are going into a new evolutionary stage where we are all going to be opening up to more clairvoyance, more awareness of how interconnected we are with ourselves, each other, and the earth and the whole universe. And so you'll notice that like certain people already have a certain light code, which means they already have like updated a certain part of themselves. So if you're around this person and you're ready for it, this can help you upgrade because your own instrument will tune to that. So when I hang out with certain friends who are very clairvoyant or have certain abilities, it like updates me. I can hear how they see the world, and then it like peels off a whole layer of the veil, and then I can forever see the world through that lens. Like I can kind of absorb their power, basically. Um, so Nowadays, a lot of people are empaths, and it's probably always been like that. I think it's a very human thing, but that's also a superpower, is being able to feel other people's feelings. And it's very important with any superpower that we're able to ground it, and so that we can use it as a gift, and so that it's not too overwhelming, because being an empath can also be really hard, and it doesn't always feel like a gift. So with any of these things, being able to see demons or spirits, or feel other people's emotions, or being able to see through lies, or being able to see the fabric of the universe or the flow of energy, or feel people's heart fields, this can be overwhelming if we're not grounded in trusting in a greater benevolence of everything. And what that means is trusting that the force behind everything, like say everything is just like swirling light. Well, let's zoom in a little. So here I'm in my earthly body. And sometimes if I get into my earthly pain of like being a woman and like whatever, I want to focus on like all the injustices of the world, like it can feel so heavy, and it can feel so like painful if I really want to sit in that. And but then I can remember my connection to everything that is, and see myself as an expression of consciousness in this dance of life and beauty and joy. And as we take in this information, it's really important to be able to connect to a greater benevolent source, and trust that the force behind everything is benevolent, that everything, even as it's like unfolding. Oh yeah, so I was saying like in my body, and then I connect to like, oh, I'm actually a piece of earth. I'm actually like an extension of Mother Earth. And then I zoom out and I'm like, oh, I'm a spiritual being. I'm here to be of service. And then I, zoom out and I'm like, oh, I'm just a speck of dust in the universe, right? But, and then you can zoom out and you can be like, whoa, it's all just swirling light. But somehow being able to anchor in and tap into the knowing that all this swirling light, or even being in the pain of this body, that it's all moving towards something more and more and more and more beautiful. Like trusting that when you're going through a hard time, that you're going to get out of it, and that you're going to learn a lesson from it, and that maybe you'll be able to help someone else with that same lesson. So it's important. That's one of the ways to protect yourself. So yeah, as you begin to open up to your gifts more and more, another way that's really important to protect yourself is with your heart light, right? So I've never actually been afraid of being like attacked by demons or anything like that, because I feel protected, because I have a very strong heart light. And so that's a really good way to protect yourself. I have been through many hard times and times where I was like, why is this happening to me? I don't understand. But at the end of the day, I do feel spiritually protected. And even as I do go and face some of these monsters and things like that, and help other people face their monsters, I do feel safe and I do feel protected. Of course, I have moments where I get spooked, but my whole point of telling you this is just you can protect yourself. And so you protect yourself by making your own light really strong. And basically, it's just whatever you are, you just be that, and that will make you strong. So, like, whatever when you're like really feeling yourself, like, yeah, like I'm dancing. I feel so good. I feel so hot. Yep. That's when my light is really strong because I'm just like, woo. So whatever you do that makes you feel really radiant and good, that will protect you. But say you start to get attacks or you start to feel like scared energy, and then you like shrink down, like whoop, 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 whoop. It's like kind of contracting your light. I mean, use your discretion. It's okay to like expand and contract like a heartbeat. But just think about it and see how it applies for you, to keep your light strong, and that this will protect you. Because, for example, like say you're going to start to come out and be more of yourself, kind of how I am right now. Like every day I ask myself, like, how can I be of service in the world now? And I just, it's like, how much, what is actually helpful to people? Like, what do I need to say or do that will actually be helpful? Um, Anyways, it's like if I just like peek out a little and then I get like attacked and then I just go back in, then I'm not as safe. It's like, but if I peek out a little and then I get attacked and then I'm like, whoa, then that's what I've just that's what I've just learned that I have to do. And that's been working for me. So I encourage you to try that, especially if you feel scared or if you feel that you're being spiritually attacked. Try going bigger. Let's see. Yeah. So I'm really curious, like, what kinds of superpowers do you have naturally, and um, maybe tell me about synchronicity that works for you, or telepathy, or how you feel source energy working through you. Oh, that's another thing. Yeah, so I invite you to do comments if you want to tell me like what your superpower is, or how you perceive the world that you feel like is a little bit different than how other people perceive the world, because we all have different gifts. But yeah, so when I do therapy sessions with people, I basically just pray and I just say, benevolent source energy, use me in this session holding this container for the betterment of this person and for the greater good of all. And I really just get out of my own way and I let source work through me, and magic happens. It's like I don't have to fish for anything to come up. It's like what needs to emerge will emerge, and whatever information. I'm connected to the whole universe. I'm connected to the whole universe. So, and so are you. And so whatever needs to emerge in that session, I hold that container with that intention, and I get out of my own way. I don't know anything. I don't need to know anything. and I just see what source wants to bring through me and how source is expressing itself through this other person. And I do believe that we are all moving towards evolution, and I think it's a really exciting time to be on the planet. And I'm really grateful that I get to be here right now. And also, I've been studying miracle healings, so maybe I can talk about that sometime. But yeah, tell me what your superpowers are and what kind of experiences you have with synchronicity, telepathy, clairvoyance, um, and stuff like that. I'm really curious to hear from you. Thanks for listening.